Have you ever looked at a Lego minifigure and thought they could have done it better? Well, today I'm going to show you a whole bunch of ways to make your Lego Star Wars minifigures cooler and more accurate. For starters, let's talk about different lightsaber upgrades. Ahsoka's Clone Wars Season 7 minifigure is pretty great, but there's one simple piece that we can use to make it even better. And to do that, we're going to use this translucent light blue bar. This piece is found in both Series 6 and Series 1 of the collectible minifigures, with the Intergalactic Girl and Spaceman respectively. And it's just a little bit shorter than the regular lightsaber bars. So by replacing one of her lightsaber bars with this one, we can get a result like this, which is actually more accurate to how one of her lightsabers is shorter than the other. There's also a nice upgrade that we can do to her adult appearance as well. By taking the lightsaber hilts from this Asajj Ventress minifigure and giving them to Ahsoka, we can make her lightsaber hilts look closer to the curved appearance they have in her show. And speaking of the Ahsoka show, let's upgrade Baylan and Shin's lightsabers as well. By using these translucent neon orange bars, we can make their red lightsabers look more like this, which is closer to how their lightsabers look in the show with that orangish hue. We can also give Darth Maul a more accurate hilt as well, by switching out the standard lightsaber hilt piece with this one. It's slightly longer than the standard lightsaber hilt, so it looks a little bit more accurate to a double-sided lightsaber. And for those of you who don't have the new Darksaber piece yet, since it's only been in a couple sets so far, you can also just use a simple black katana. Since both the hilt and the blade on the Darksaber are black, this is a pretty good alternative since it looks pretty similar to the real thing. Now let's talk about some clone upgrades. If you want to give your clones that are under a specific legion some more color, try swapping the arms out. By swapping the white arms with other arms that have the same color that are on the rest of the trooper, you can make them look a little bit more accurate and as if they have the shoulder armor on like the clones do in the movies and shows. Speaking of our TV show characters, there's a lot of upgrades we can give to our named clones as well. By giving them one of the original waist cape pieces that came in the old Clone Wars sets, it looks a lot better than the simple print that's on the legs. There's also a lot of upgrades that we can give to Commander Fox here as well. Instead of giving him the simple gray visor and gray waist cape that they give him in his set, you can actually give him this red visor that comes from this ARC Trooper minifigure, and also this red waist cape that comes from this Scarlet Witch minifigure. And if you want him to carry more firepower than just his dual-wielding blasters, you can use one of these white rubber bands that comes in a lot of different LEGO sets on his waist as a holster for the blasters so that he can then carry another weapon. The holster trick is great, and I use it on a lot of different types of troopers. There's also black LEGO rubber bands this size if you want to use it on a trooper that has black armor for a holster. You can use this skeleton minifigure for tech to make it more accurate of his Season 2 finale appearance. And take off Crosshair's right hand to be more accurate to his Season 3 finale appearance.
Now that's a lot of damage!
And if you're anything like me and want LEGO to make a Commander Bly minifigure, you can actually do it yourself with either of these minifigures that already exist. By using one of the old clone pilot helmets and one of the new macro binocular pieces, you can make a custom Commander Bly in the Clone Wars style, or use this more recent Clone Trooper minifigure to give him a slightly more live-action appearance look. If you love the Clone Wars minifigure details but can't stand the ugly faces, this next one is for you. Simply swap any of the Clone Wars heads for any of the newer variants of the minifigures. This way you can have the accuracy of the torso details from the original Clone Wars minifigures without those creepy faces haunting you in your sleep. Next, we have a couple battle droid upgrades. By using a simple tan 1x2 plate and antenna, you can make a very simple droid backpack as seen in a lot of the LEGO video games. And by using the already supplied stud on the back of the droid, you can just connect it here and give it a backpack. That same stud on the back of the battle droids is also useful for another cool upgrade. By flipping the stud side to the front of the battle droid, you can connect several other pieces to the front of it and, for example, make it look like it's getting blasted. By adding this new connection to the front of the battle droid, it adds a lot of possibilities for new dynamic poses and action set pieces in mocks or dioramas. Super battle droids also have a useful connection with this clip on their hand. By using this laser piece in tandem with this clear minifigure accessory holder, you can clip it into the battle droid's arm blaster and make it look exactly like it's shooting a blaster bolt. And speaking of blasters, there are some other cool things we can do with them as well. If you didn't already know, it's possible to make minifigures hold a blaster in more than just one hand. By alternating the direction of the hands on the minifigure, they can then have this idle pose by holding the blaster in both hands. And when it comes to the accuracy of blasters, there's two cool ones you can do with Rebel blasters. By adding this black minifigure hand to this rifle on this Rebel Trooper, you can make it look a lot like the A280C, which is a blaster that the Rebels used a lot in the movies and the video games. And by adding one simple piece like this silver cone to this blaster here, you can make it look like the DH-17 blaster, which is actually one of the first blasters we ever saw in Star Wars. And you can also add even more with this piece by putting this laser bolt here. And if you have minifigures like Bo-Katan or Sabine that have hair pieces as well as helmets, but you want to display both of them at the same time, you can use two simple pieces to make them hold the helmet. If you connect a minifigure accessory holder to a simple stud, you can put it inside the helmet so that it has a connection for them to hold on to. That way you can then display the minifigure with their hairpiece and their helmet. And for our last upgrade, we're going to make this Cassian Andor minifigure more accurate to his appearance at the end of Rogue One. So that about does it for all of my LEGO Star Wars minifigure upgrades. If you enjoyed any of these builds, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.